Japan, and here we are to our first ever podcast. Very interesting stuff.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome, Mr. Kyan,
Welcome. Thank you for the invite, Mr. Vandani.
to all my future viewers. This is Ashish Kyan, a friend, co-founder at some point, and yeah, my confidant, I would say.
Godfather to his son.
Yes.
Yeah.
So godfather, uncle, whatever you want to call it, chacha, tau, तेरे को जो चाहिए ले ले. All yours.
Tao is
Yeah,
interesting.
tau. So, how's it going? What's been up?
As of today, not lazy, it was pretty decent. So, I had to go swimming today, and the swimming classes usually is around, well, the swimming pool is around 3-4 kilometers away. So, usually I take a Uber, but today I was like, I decided to cycle to the pool, and which meant that I had to cycle back also after swimming, and it's really hot. And I was getting ready for the swimming pool, and then I was talking to myself, ki, are you mad? Are you really going to do this? Why are you going to? Why don't you go just die? Why are you doing this to yourself? Like cycling to the pool and then swimming and then coming back. What is mad wrong with you? And then finally, I was like, fuck it. You want to do it? Let's do it.
Yeah, I
And
remember Hyderabad gets really hot. Like
yeah.
it gets really hot. I remember one of my cousins, actually one cousin we know that you
Mhm.
also know, got married in Hyderabad. I won't be taking names for the recording, but yeah, this
Yeah,
was,
it's
I
hot.
don't know, back in 2005, and I was supposed to organize an AC bus from Hyderabad to Bangalore,
Oh.
and I was supposed to go check the bus and everything. And I remember I took an auto rickshaw.
Uh,
My parents were pretty against me going out in the
Heat.
afternoon at 1, 2 o'clock, and they were like, yeah, be careful, you'll get a heat stroke, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, I'll take a bottle of water, I'll be fine. So, but I remember it was extremely hot.
Yeah. Hyderabad does get really hot. Like weirdly, yeah, it's pretty like Delhi hot types. So
Delhi hot. But
yeah,
Delhi gets hotter, right?
yeah. When the Delhi mein there's loo and all. Also, yeah, it's mostly it's that stinging direct heat kind of thing. Dry kinds of gets it.
Interesting.
Can you pick up the fan noise by any chance?
Very slightly, I can. But it's okay. It's all good.
Okay.
We'll,
No, I will ramp it up by switching on the AC. I want to see how much it's big.
I can pick up all the sounds of the auto rickshaw and all of that. But
Acha, you can.
I can. But the thing is, with this later on, we can uh, use a little software and
Okay. Can you
uh,
pause the recording? I had ordered food and my food is
I have
give
to
me two
stop it.
minutes.
I don't think I can pause it, but let me see what happens after I stop it.
Or stay online or whatever if that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll stay online.
Sorry.
You can mute your mic and your camera.
Yo. Hello. Hello.
Adios, amigo. Powering on.
You are on
Yeah,
mute.
yeah.
Uh,
I'm good
yeah,
now.
I thought again. So this is going to be a working eating podcast.
It's
Is
all
that
good.
fine?
It's all
Well,
good.
anyways, this is. Can you read this? I don't know. Is it inverted?
बहारों फूल बरसाओ मेरा खाना आया. Man, I must say the marketing game in India has taken a whole
Yeah.
different it's taken a whole different
Yeah. People are
image
giving
now.
it all.
Yeah, it is crazy for
Huh.
lunch or dinner.
Actually, I don't know what this is. What is this? This is technically lunch. Yes,
Acha, this is technically lunch, but
I had like
what did you
I
order?
intend to have like breakfast in phases. So I'm having like a lot of fruits and uh, cut vegetable salads and stuff for breakfast. So आज जैसे हो गया कि I just had a lot of like vegetables and then फिर करते करते I had a call, then I made some bacon and boiled eggs and then I had that, so that's also part of my breakfast. तो करते करते अब भी जाके अपन कुछ स्नैकी टाइप्स कर रहे हैं, तो it's roll. No, it's yeah, it's a OG chicken roll.
Ooh, I actually, you won't believe it. What I was doing, what I was doing yesterday. I actually went on the Swiggy app
है ओके.
and I went and I put the address, Alps ka address डाला था.
Yeah.
And I was looking at all the food that was available because when I saw Swiggy back in when we were
Yeah.
working together, 2017, 16,
Yeah.
2016, 17, there were only a limited number of places, right? It was very
Yeah.
um, very limited. Now, interestingly, there are so many places, and I was just checking. It was like I think 2 o'clock in the morning in India, so I was just checking what is available, and I'm like, holy shit, you can get biryani, rolls, pizza. I'm like, what the crazy? Oh,
Food seems
definitely.
to have become mad in
Sorry.
India. Since Swiggy and Zomato have come in,
Yeah.
food scene to has gone mad.
Do you have
But
an example if you had to quantify this madness, like from a time perspective or a quality perspective?
I would say कि the service like a Swiggy and Zomato has given rise to a cloud kitchen kind of thing.
That I've heard of. Yes, that I've heard of.
So now the cloud kitchen ka advantage obviously is कि you don't have the overhead costs of running a restaurant, and you can try out something interesting, some interesting concept, or rework a role, or rework go all in on the branding front while you just have you're operating off a small space cloud kitchen kind of thing with a basic kitchen setup, and your basic funda then becomes on the uh, managing this procurement of product and manpower, your kitchen staff basically, right? So that has given advantage to a lot of people to enter this food business previously. Like I'm sure a lot of people you must have heard in your family or friends कि कभी कोई कैफे खोलेंगे, कभी कुछ करेंगे, कभी बीच में कुछ करेंगे and stuff like that.
Right, right, right.
So I think some generation of like people in their 35 late 30s early 40s who had the capital saved up to kind of look at things, तो उन्होंने कुछ 5-10 लाख लगा के अपना एक क्लाउड किचन का सर्विस खोला विद सम डिफरेंशिएशन ऑन ब्रांडिंग और सर्विस और पैकेजिंग और ऑल थ्री, and that has expanded the choice for consumer, right?
Interesting.
So and since it's a sorry, am I too loud?
No, all good, man.
Sorry, since it's a review driven system, so these guys have been forced to maintain quality also or be driven
Right,
out of the market, right?
right.
And because of these entrants, hey, look at these cute fries that they have. Look at the size of the fries.
Hmm.
See, whip shot fries. It's basically those twirlies जो आते हैं
Yeah, 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 yeah.
उसका
Something
छोटा
that
छोटा
Burger
पीस.
King has, right? Like the Burger King
Yeah,
has, it's the answer to the fries of McDonald's. Those,
yeah. मैंने उसी
yeah,
को
curly
लेकर उसका
fries.
4 पीस करके 10 फ्राइज बना के भेज दिया है.
Hi, you know the KFC ka popcorn chicken. So I think that's the
Yeah,
see. Even the packaging is a lot like the
yeah, yeah.
popcorn chicken KFC that they have. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So yeah. So also then realize कि जैसे तो food में ये हो गया. This has also caused like the traditional boys to step up
Hmm.
on their efforts on either it be quality or adapting to new delivery wala thing, or go all in into their original offering, which is the in dining, the
Right.
concentrate on the dining experience, that kind of thing,
Right,
right?
right, right, right.
So that has caused with the traditional boys. And in the ecosystem, then the packaging guys, right?
Have
There's
had
so
to up
many
their
packaging
game.
options have come up,
Yeah, I
right?
can imagine.
Remember when we did the whole coffee ka packaging wala scene?
Oof, my God, that was one thing. I mean, holy shit. I remember
Hmm.
we were trying to put what stickers on ready-made packages, and then we went to this guy
Hmm.
close to Electronic City.
नहीं, उसके पहले ही हमने कितना तरह का वो पाउचेस मंगाया,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
सिल्वर पाउचेस, ये साइज वो
yeah.
साइज, 5 किलो 1 किलो, कितना सारा सैंपल मंगाया हमने, कितना सारा के
Right.
साथ ट्रायल किया
Yep.
है.
Yep. We were trying. I think the initial idea was when you got that rolling tobacco, right? We were trying to get
Hmm.
a pouch like that, so when you opened it in the morning, it's an experience to,
Right.
and then put your coffee in. But
Hmm.
that was a very that was the first, I think, start of the idea. Then basically,
Hmm.
we I gave up on the idea because, and then
No,
you
but
said,
then it
yeah,
was at that point in time, though, that was solution was not available widespread.
yeah,
बट अब वो सोल्यूशन मिल गया, तो वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि एज अ नेटवर्क इफेक्ट
yeah,
of these, what has happened is also the uh, packaging guys have to had to step up also.
yes,
So the packaging guy has to deliver this popcorn size also now. पहले
yeah,
KFC जो 3 साइज मंगाता था वही था.
right.
अब KFC के
Um,
साथ 100 और रेस्टोरेंट्स है जो अपना मंगा रहे हैं
right,
पॉपकॉर्न चिकन के लिए, और
right,
वही मंगा रहे हैं, वही उसी पैकेजिंग में मिल रहा है, और कोई पैकेजिंग में नहीं दे रहा है.
right. Interesting. But there
So
was also a push towards environmentally friendly packaging, right? Was what happened to that? Is that still a thing, or has
yeah,
it
yeah.
slowed? Oh, it
So
is still a thing.
yeah, yeah. So why I would say it's still a thing is because the big players like Amazon and all, they've started majorly looking at rolling back plastic and going back into recycled and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
So
I can imagine.
now sustainability वाला एंगल जो होता है ना, वो it has to be a top down thing. So
That is
for
true. That
like a
is true.
beanstalk and leaves business doing sustainability, the only thing that's going to happen is that we our cost is going to increase.
Yeah, of course.
Nothing else is going to happen.
And that's basically going to eat into our margin, right? So,
That's going to eat into our margins. वो पैकेजिंग वाले को घंटा फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है कि वो मेरे को ज्यादा ही कॉस्ट पे देगा.
right,
लेकिन if an Amazon or a Flipkart adapts to it, then it trickles down to the packaging guys also कि बॉस अब Amazon ले रहा है इतना, तो it gives me the capacity to give a beanstalk and leaves or other players
yeah,
along the value chain
right.
sustainable options at a cheaper price. So that has the pricing is going down every day
Acha.
uh, on the sustainability packaging wala thing.
Okay, yeah, that's the network effect as you had.
Yeah, but it'll still take, I think, with another 7-10 years away for complete, for it being the norm rather than a fad. Abhi it's still a tag fad, like marketing fad kind of thing.
Hmm, interesting. Very interesting. I was having this conversation with a friend recently, and we were talking about, it went into this whole topic of climate change, global warming, and stuff like this, uh, and basically, there is this. At some point, about 5-7 years ago, there's always been this topic of plastic, right? Plastic was a very big topic in everybody's agenda, and unfortunately, that part of the conversation has lost steam. A lot of people are not protesting about plastic in the oceans and this and that. I think it's become more like, okay, global warming, change, blah blah blah. And I was thinking, and I'm like, why is it, right? We were talking about it. Why is it that difficult to walk away from plastic or something that pollutes the environment? It's because of convenience, right? I mean, plastic is a very convenient tool for packaging or a material for packaging, right? Your Tetra packs are plastic. Your um, storage boxes at home are plastic. Your the grocery bag is plastic. You can go on and on and on, right? So um, now the question is, that which I had to for this was key. We all protest for the ban of plastic, but we don't protest for a solution that can bring about the same or even close enough convenience to plastic, right? So I think that somewhere down the line, I think that would be a very interesting conversation. Is that what would be the solution to plastic? I mean, it should just not be a fad or a branding thing that basically, or brands use it to offset their carbon footprint, or you know, nobody protests for a solution. So I find that very interesting. I don't know how it is in India, how many people give a damn. Uh, but yeah, I think that would be a very interesting area to look at, in the sense, what is the perfect solution. Okay, now I can hear a lot of things. Like, what did you do?
So, no, so what I was saying, so on your point, you're right. There was a fad, or there was a moment in time when the focus was on plastics. I guess, or I remember the bunch of initiatives being passed across the globe for not usage of plastic and stuff.
Yeah,
And simultaneously, I remember a lot of like people going into bioplastics or
right.
packaging derived from biomaterial, mushroom, mycelium, all of that.
Yeah,
Right. Um, but it died down, I think, because of the pandemic.
yeah. Was it the pandemic, or was it just
It
the
was
end?
also so.
Was it?
See the larger uh, the larger thing I would say is ki with these things usually, right, like a collective fatigue takes over, like a
Yeah,
collective mental fatigue of the audience as a whole, whether it's a auditorium or a city or a on social media. You keep hearing about something without, as you said, about a solution, right? When you're just saying ki ban plastics, say no to plastics, whatever, whatever, whatever,
yeah, yeah,
and you keep hearing it day in and day out. So ठीक है, I'm like, as average human beings, we are like कि चलो ठीक है, we'll deduct plastics from our lives, but either we mute that conversation after a certain point in time because there is hardly any impact that we can add to it. Matlab, it's not like we can add our voice to it and it will make too much of an impact. What we do is at a personal level, and that is what matters. And secondly, yes, the focus also shifts collectively as a different whole thing. And then there are legislations which are passed which kind of buys peace with these guys also for some time. And these are also long tail effects, right? Like plastic, as you were saying, ki it's such a diverse material, right?
yeah,
Excuse me. And it's so pervasive. It's everywhere in our lives, like
yeah,
because of its cheap availability, um, easy moldability, easy travel, all of that. Like like a ton of iron and versus a ton of plastic. It's easier to, it will be cheaper to transport that plastic because less fuel. Just
yeah, yeah. Absolutely, no doubt about
right.
it.
So that coming to India, there are some, I'm like, there was some steam on the whole Swachh Bharat wala thing, but that also kind of got handed down to a city level, which is at the city management level. And after the national focus on it and campaign driven things like best city and all of that, which is still running, I think a lot of the municipal corporations had to take up the onus of running it. So I think in that sense, Bangalore does segregation, like has
Yes,
implemented segregation quite strictly,
yes,
whereas Hyderabad does not have segregation.
yes,
To your India question, that is my anecdotal answer. Ki we are still like 10 years behind the curve.
on this issue.
Yeah, because भाई प्लास्टिक चीप है यार. इंडियंस को चीप चाहिए लाइफ में.
No, that's the thing, right? It's not only Indians, but I see it world over. Plastic has a very, very strong utility, and you cannot just basically throw it out of your life. It's not possible in today's day and age. Today, as you said, everything in PET bottles, your Tetra packs, your milk, everything comes in some form of plastic or the other, right? And then on top of that, yeah. So, and on top of that, there nobody talks. That's why I said nobody talks about a solution. What is the solution that gets us close enough to the ideal what plastic has given us? That is number two. Number three, which I wanted to add to this, was there was interesting. It was talked about in the All In podcast, but this was a report I think that came out of Greece or Italy, where and this goes close to my line of work. Doctors had taken 50 patients which and they had plaque in their arteries, and of course they used a stent or they used some form of and they had taken permission to see if they can research on that piece of plaque. And what they found was that within the plaque they found microplastic. They determined was that microplastic was coming from PET bottles that basically you drank water out of or Coke out of, and it
Oh
was
wow.
crazy. And you should check it out. It is so crazy. When I read it, I was like, "What is that?" It's like there. It's we are made of microplastic now. It's become like that,
Intense.
and it actually is. It actually increases the probability of having heart attacks, and it's not like organic, like it's not like fat or calcium that
Yeah.
usually creates a blockage in the artery. So an inorganic material causing a blockage in the arteries is something that we will have to figure out going forward.
Fair, fair. Um,
Yes,
is so this was in Greece.
Greece or Italy, I think. So I remember the contents of the paper very, very vaguely, but I know that they found microplastic in plaque development, which was very interesting.
How do you reverse it?
That's the question. How do you reverse it? So it's almost like putting a needle in a haystack of a solution, because how do you take care of an inorganic thing in your body that is caused from outside? And that too plastic, which probably doesn't melt away like everything else. So
Interesting.
all the bottles that of water that I have consumed over the years, given the fact that I lived in India and I consumed only bottled water, or I have a lot of microplastic within me. Yeah,
Hygiene.
yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah. But
fucked.
there is this one interesting company that's working out of Netherlands. They basically, I think, are an NGO. They're non for profit, and they
Hmm.
basically have come up with a system that they collect plastic from the ocean.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've ever seen it. And they have these big ships and big so there were like these two ships that covers about, so there are two ships about 1.62 kilometers apart, and they have
Hmm.
like a net in between them,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
trying to collect all the plastic from the ocean, which I find very, very, very promising, but unfortunately nobody talks about it. Everybody is
Hmm.
very,
No, but
very,
this. No, ये वाला देखा तो है. I wouldn't say nobody's talking about it. It has its niche,
yeah.
but I'm sure people know about it. So,
There is a very, very, but it's not talked about on a grand scale. So I find that it should be more, I would say, strongly implemented. I guess if I had to make a very controversial statement, I think a lot of the money that the government spend on I don't know, the stuff that probably isn't really important. I think they should spend on stuff like this, or even uh, fund projects like this. But again, um,
Which
it's
governments?
all governments around the world. I think that should be definitely a key agenda. And then I think one part of it is to collect the plastic, and the second part would be is to figure out a way to dispose it, which still hasn't been. Uh,
Put it back into the ocean.
yeah, no, no, not that way. But probably break it back down to its original forms, and then it's okay. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but that I think, yeah, the thing with plastic I think was also nobody knows how to effectively manage it anymore. Like, to recycle it is the only way. So either you break it down into pellets and
yes,
resend it to the plastic value chain, and then stop that previous plastic production, the new plastic or oil production that threatens the oil companies. uh, and this recycling process might not uh, uh, might not ki matlab is not yet giving the right kind of quality results which new plastic obviously gives. Mm. Second, it's also uh, the reusability is not sorted out, so nobody is like कि पूरा plastic collect तो कर लेंगे लेकिन फिर रखेंगे कहाँ. That is why it was in the ocean in the first place because we didn't have place to keep it. Now you're bringing
yeah.
back in it.
With
You're
the
bringing back it.
recycling bit, also there's a bit of a problem because. So I was saying that there was a report where around a recycle plastic facility,
Huh.
recycling plant, basically, they found mm, they found micro and nanoplastics in the water plus
Right.
in the air.
Huh.
So it was so this recycling bit is also not a solution, I would say.
Huh.
It
Huh.
actually causing more harm than good.
True.
So probably the solution would be is to break it down to its innate form.
The cost of the electrical breakage is going to be massive.
Yes, I could imagine. It would be interesting if we could take all this recycled plastic and make a battery out of it.
We use it to 3D print some things. But
Yeah,
yeah, maybe usability. So yeah, form factor, usability of the recycled product into different areas. Like I heard a lot of um recycled plastic is being used in construction nowadays. So that's also reducing dependency on concrete, which is another
yeah, yeah.
uh,
I've heard of that one as well.
contributor to greenhouse. So they
Yes,
are
I've heard
using
of
a
that.
lot of like plastic for into construction of buildings and stuff. So
Yeah,
धीरे धीरे, so these are long chain. Yeah, plastic matlab I think has been in existence for like what 50, 60, 100 years, 50, 60
50
years.
years, 50 years at least, 50 years. I think.
See, I would say,
So, what have you been recently looking into from your
oh, so I ordered like a bunch of books. So
world for sale? Interesting.
read the by tagline.
Money, power, and the traders who parted the earth's resources.
Yeah. So I came across this. So I'm kind of getting back to Twitter. So I came across this Twitter thread, which had the question that if you had to understand about a particular market or a particular segment, say you need to get an understanding of 80 to 90% of a particular segment, suggest one book that you should read, right? So it had 25 suggestions, so advertising, all of that, uh, marketing, fruits, all, so different subjects, different books it had mentioned. So it had three books which had said, and I ordered three of them right now. So this one, the world for sale, is on commodity trading. It
Yeah, yeah,
gives you a thing on commodity trading, right? Then there is a book called which is coming in is Read, Write, Own, Building the Next Era of the Internet. So that is on Web3 and crypto.
hmm.
And that's a good book. I've seen that book last year also being recommended heavily. And then I ordered one book on pharmaceuticals called Bad
Ooh,
Pharma.
ooh, sounds very interesting. The first
Yeah.
thing that comes pops into my mind when you said bad pharma was cotton.
Oxycontin.
Yeah,
Oxycontin.
oxycodone. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Very interesting books that you have ordered.
Yeah. And one more is
Commodities. Yeah,
yeah,
go for it.
commodities, Web3 crypto,
And bad pharma.
and Bad Pharma.
Yeah.
And one more book is lying in my cart, The Secret Life of Groceries.
Secret Life of Groceries. That's interesting. That's definitely interesting.
It gives you a rundown on the supermarket business.
Oh, that would be a very interesting book. I always wondered whenever I go pick up groceries now, I'm like, how long did it take for it to get in my hand? What was the
Yeah.
process? What was the background? Sounds very interesting.
Yeah. So I came across this and then I like, okay, let's do this. Let's
Yeah,
read some
that's very
interesting stuff.
interesting. I've
That's it.
actually, interestingly, you talk about books. Currently, I've been reading books.
Okay, on books, can I give you a little off the tracks, unserious thing? Something
Sure.
that actually interesting came out of Comic Con,
What's
the
up? Yeah,
Hyderabad
go for
Comic
it.
Con.
Go for it.
So, did you ever read Raj Comics, Phantom, and all of that?
Very, very seldom. Very.
Okay.
I've gone close to Tinkle, but
बचपन में
not
कभी पढ़ा राज
Tinkle
कॉमिक्स?
pada. Tinkle, but not Raj.
Okay. So there was a Raj Comics ka counter at the Hyderabad Comic Con. So they had this whole counter, and then there is this uh, book called City Without a Hero, which is a graphic novel basically in Hindi.
In Hindi, wow.
It's a full, so it was released as those small tinkle sized things, and then they've compiled it into a whole book. Okay.
Oh, wow. Look at
So I
that.
picked the, so I picked this up. Okay. So it's like full interesting. So I haven't started it this one yet. So I'm waiting for the right chance to like start this. And then the really interesting thing really happened was that Raj Comics ka founder Sanjay Gupta and the creator of Phantom and all of that was also there.
Oh, wow.
So I got his thing signed.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. Priya Ashish Ji Supreme Sanjay Gupta.
Oh,
So,
look at
yeah.
that. Fanboy moment.
Yeah, unintentional fanboy moment. Not that I ever read Phantom too much. Like my cousins were into Phantom and all of that, so I used to kind of pick up from there what's happening, what's the latest and stuff. But then I took a chance and I got this done sorted. So this was something interesting that came out of Comic
Have you
Con.
have you used this to put it on your cousin's group on WhatsApp saying, "Hey, look what I got."
Good idea. Not yet. I will.
Your cousins are gonna go crazy.
I never thought about it, man. Shit. Good.
Shit, I'm like the evil
Thank you. Thank you.
influence. Yes, yes.
No, no. It's good.
I have actually talking about books. Actually, I have been doing a bit of reading and listening. Nowadays, audiobooks is a thing.
Yeah.
I came across this on Twitter. There was this account that was featuring some books, and this was on emotional intelligence. So,
Uh,
or EQ, both in emotional quotient. There's this a new book I'm listening to, Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. Goldman, yeah.
uh,
Hmm,
Okay.
excuse me.
Nice.
Intelligent. So this is interesting. It at least the preface of the book or whatever I've heard is that they're trying to explain that how society always bases or always based one's success on
Mm,
IQ, which is actually not the right thing to do because a lot of people who had great IQ in school,
mm,
uh, it never equated to success.
mm,
Somebody who had an IQ of 160 ended up working for people who had an IQ of
mm,
100. Why is that, and how best to understand how
mm.
to control your emotional intelligence? It's an interesting read for sure in terms of trying to understand how your mind operates and how,
Right.
and it also gives you, the first chapter was all about the biology of the brain, uh,
Okay.
how various different parts of your brain act and react to emotions, reactions, and
Mm,
um, fear and flight. One of the most interesting parts, sorry, fight or flight, not fear and flight, fight or flight. And it's like
mm.
the most interesting part of, at least one of the things that it explained was, when you're angry, your body responds in a ways that it pumps a lot of blood into your hands,
Right.
and you want to pick up something and hit something. That is the fight angle, right? And the
Right.
flight angle is your body responds in a way that it pumps a lot of blood into your legs, and you want to run away. That was very interesting. And I was like, wow,
Mm,
okay, that's very interesting. So, how your body responds and how you react to a situation
right.
was, I think that was my hook. So,
Interesting.
now I'm getting
Good.
lined in. Now, let's see if I really sink. So, that was the first part. Now, then, of course, I'm also reading The Expectant Father.
Oh,
That I don't think I'll get into. And
yeah.
then there is also Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
I've
That I
seen
am,
the cover.
yeah. So I think it's about deal making as to understanding how you make a deal. And this guy is an ex FBI negotiator, and he's talking about how it is to negotiate
Acha.
in
Okay.
very uh, pressure situations and how you deal with
Hmm.
it and so on and so forth. So
Hmm.
that is very interesting. Just to
Nice.
get an insight of a situation, trying to understand, just ki, acha, if somebody uh, takes hostages in a bank, right? At
Hmm.
this point of time, what are your options? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to
Right.
accomplish? How do you get them to let go? So it's stuff like that, which is very
Interesting.
cool. Very cool. Yes, Never Split the Difference. Chris Voss. And
Chris
uh,
was is he the guy with who had long hair and all?
not sure. Not sure.
Well, he came on Joe Rogan and then stuff like that.
Maybe. I don't know. I think so. I think so. And somewhere down the
Nice.
rabbit hole, I'm actually also listening to Quantum Physics for
Hmm?
Beginners.
Noise.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of uh, how do you call it? It takes a little bit of
How's your
uh,
calculus?
not my strongest suit. Not my strongest suit. But it's for beginners, so you're trying to understand the basics of quantum physics. I cannot listen to it for more than half an hour because then my mind starts going in 10 different directions. So, quantum physics, it can be very, very dry as a topic,
Hmm.
but it's
For,
interesting.
for twists and turns.
Yeah, it is. They talk about a lot of these old Heisenberg's principle, and then they speak about
Hmm.
uh, I don't know what not. I have to, and it takes a second for me to remember. अच्छा क्या था वो theory? What was that theory? Heisenberg का principle क्या था? So it was,
Good.
yeah, very interesting stuff.
Why are
And
you doing this?
about what?
Quantum physics.
I'm a victim of general curiosity. I really, I have this. I think one of the things that I want to understand things from a basic perspective.
Uh,
How does it work? What does work? What doesn't work? I think general curiosity brings me. Of course, it is a it is a boon and a bane because once I understand something as how it works, then I do have no interest in it. So I could understand the most complex of topics, and then I'm like, huh, okay, yeah, now I understand. Okay, that's it. So, but I like the idea of being just generally curious. Just read things. I think we take it for granted as human beings that we have the ability to read, and we don't give it enough read or listen to information, but we don't give it enough space because we take it for granted. And
uh,
at least personally, um, it has it has been quite a lot of things on my plate, and I end up going on YouTube and watching geopolitics all the time, which is not exactly very healthy.
you become like a real uncle only.
Okay, I'm going to mark the clip here. Yeah.